much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, let me bleed as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, let me bleed. Let me all of the pain seems to follow like a shadow, dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, let me bleed as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, let me bleed. Let me
Tell me what's the deal. Your next movie is the drama. Tell me what's the deal. Your next movie is the drama. Tell me what's the deal.
What is going on, guys? Good morning. I woke up literally 30 minutes ago. Hopefully everybody's having a great morning. /night. We're going to be watching KBO for the next 3 or so hours. So the good thing about this stream is we will be grabbing the edge not only with the lineups when they come out, but also from a strategical standpoint. Guys, I'm going to be going over KBO for the very first time. This is going to be the very first stream. I do apologize. I was out of office for this past weekend, and it was due to some family health concerns. If you guys are on Patreon, then you guys do know the extent of why I was gone. Also, let me know if my mic is operational, if it sounds good. Please let me know. I haven't done this in about 5 days, so everything could be messed up. I don't know. It looks like it's good. So, like I said, I haven't been doing this the past 5 days due to some family health concerns. So, I do apologize. Content will be getting completely rolled out here. We haven't even talked about Call of Duty this whole week. We haven't talked about Call of Duty. In 2 days, we'll have Call of Duty back up again. And if you guys remember, we all had pretty much takedowns. We all were very profitable. I turned $100 into over 1,000 on our very first Call of Duty contest. So cannot wait to roll that out, guys. Be looking out for that. Again, this is a public stream. I know a lot of you are Patreon members, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page for KBO. Last night we had a semi-successful night because, first of all, the chalk didn't hit, but one of the stacks that I did not recommend on Patreon did hit. So if you were an MMEer and you guys get the grasp of this, you probably did fine. I actually broke even by like literally $5 strictly because of the strategy that was behind KBO. I'm going to be talking about how to construct your lineups. Yes, this is a public live stream. Now, a majority of you are Patreon members, and that's perfectly fine. And I want this to be directed towards Patreon users. But if you guys do not have the cheat sheets, you guys will not get what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys won't get the leverage tool. You guys will understand what I'm saying. All right. So let's go over this. What's going on, guys? Yeah, I will yell Dean as loud as I can. That's fine. What's going on, guys? Yeah, also refresh the page if you guys are dropping in viewership. This always happens in about 5 to 10 minutes every single stream. For some reason, whenever I go live, it just drops. It drops at a random location. Just feel free to refresh the page. I will wait till all you guys get in here, okay? I'll go ahead and take a break, a small break, water break. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to pump out some content. I mean, again, we haven't even talked about Call of Duty, and that's in a couple days. I hope you guys haven't forgotten about esports in general. Please don't forget about esports because we still are killing it. Also, I've been getting on the same page with a couple people on some CSGO strategy, and I'll talk about that on Patreon. And really, the leverage is still there. Now, the one thing I hate about all of these esports is League of Legends is now saturated with a market that just has gotten how to do it. And it's harder to make money in League of Legends because the contest sizes because the lineup constructions are so small compared to like KBO, where it's hard to differentiate yourself in League of Legends. And I'm getting kind of mad from a strategy standpoint. I'll talk about that. Again, this is KBO though, okay? Spam the chat if you guys are back in the stream. I want to make sure everybody's back in the stream. It's awesome. Screw him with the... Yeah, so... Again, my internet always goes out for some reason 5 to 10 minutes into the stream, and it's like a bug. I don't know what it is. It's not my actual internet. My internet is fine. It just seems to drop. Like, I don't know why the connection drops. I'll wait till people get in. I only see 10 viewers. I expect it's a little bit more. Go ahead and just refresh the page. Refresh. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some KBO. All right, everybody's here, right? All right, cool. From a strategy standpoint, this is no different than League of Legends. Okay. for you guys who haven't seen the advanced leverage tool, I will be talking about this and I'll be going over it in depth, why it is so crucial to have good leverage in KBO. Now, KBO and MLB have the exact same scoring system. You do not have to worry about actual physical scoring. The scoring differences are minimal. They're non-existent for KBO and MLB. If you guys played MLB, you should easily translate to KBO. The only thing is you don't know a single player. You probably know a couple, and that's because you've seen them in MLB and they've moved over to the KBO. A couple people like I think I saw Saladino in here. There's a couple other guys, but they're pretty good players, and they tend to be the most popular here in KBO. Now, the one thing we have to focus on from a strategy standpoint is getting in a stack of players that are going to appear in the optimal, the highest scoring team. Okay, so last night it was KIW, and they scored 11 runs, and you wanted some exposure to that. Okay, you wanted a 5 or 4 stack. I believe the optimal. Let me look here on my phone just to make sure I'm telling you guys the truth here. I believe the optimal had a 4 stack of KIW with some other exposure to some other people. Let me go ahead and scroll to the top here. This guy had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had a 5 stack of KIW. Okay, so again, you want to grab as much exposure with KBO. It allows you to put up to 5 players in your lineup. Okay, but let's talk about this. Let's take it a step further. You want players in the lineup that are going to start a relay. What a relay means is that player 1 hits the ball, player 2 hits the ball, player 3 might hit a home run, which makes those 2 people in front, those 2 players in front, get some additional points. They get 2 points per run, okay? And they also get RBIs. Player 4 gets a hit. Player 5 then hits a home run, and all of those players are scoring, and they're benefiting from the player right after them in the lineup getting points, okay, getting home runs. Okay, so that's pretty much what you want to do. A stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to probably carry the most ownership. So let's say tonight we're looking at the highest scoring team on the slate here. It's going to be DOO, DOO. Okay, players 1 through 5. So if you start here at the top and go all the way 5 back, those guys are going to carry the most ownership. It makes sense here because their ownership projections are 9 through 14%. Okay, but if you compare that to any of these other teams, we got 2 through 30%. Okay, so these guys barely carry any ownership. So you want a piece of these cash guys if you are playing cash. You want a piece of 1 through 5 for DOO. To differentiate yourself, you can fade maybe the first guy and grab the 2 through 6, okay? Because this last guy in the 6th rotation is not going to carry that much ownership. Now, another thing you guys have to look at here, let me close out my YouTube settings. I just got done saying DOO is the highest, going to be the highest owned, right? So let's go over here to DOO. Dean, wake up. All right, let's go over here to our advanced statistics, okay? So I said you want to grab 1 through 5, but it's also a good idea if you are going against a right-handed pitcher to grab a left-handed batter. Reason is because generally they're weighted on base average and their ISO, which is power, so their chances to hit a home run are higher because that's just how baseball works. Okay, if you the way the ball comes into the plate and the way that you hit the ball, you generally get more power if you're facing an opposing hand. Okay, so Biam, if that's how you pronounce his name, is a right-handed pitcher, and Jose Fernandez here is a left-handed hitter. Okay, so you want to target him and probably your stack. Okay, the good thing is a couple of these weighted on base averages and ISO powers are put into Fantasy Cruncher. If you guys use Fantasy Cruncher, I'm switching from Roto Grinders to Fantasy Cruncher. I see that Fantasy Cruncher is actually easier for stacking, and the advanced settings are there. And I'm actually surprised. 32 people after being on 5 days, guys. Thank you so much for all the support, by the way. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys are learning anything. If you guys have questions and you're lost, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I will get to them. Okay, and the main point of this stream is not only to grab the lines, but go over basic general KBO strategy. All right. Now, I've been talking about hitters and what to do from a strategy standpoint and grabbing hitters and stacking them, but I haven't talked about pitchers. So the one cool thing about pitchers is you don't need to overthink pitchers, because the one thing that we have is ownership projections for them. Ben Lively is going to be the highest owned. Why is this guy not selected? Let me go ahead and refresh my page, make sure I'm not doing anything crazy. Thanks for the support, Kenny. Appreciate that, man. All right, so if we go back through here and we go to all the teams and we select on pitchers, we have an ownership projections. Again, why are these guys not selected? Mike Wright, why is he? That's concerning. Maybe I unselected them for some reason. But the one good thing is we have ownership projections. You guys will notice right off the bat that some of these pitchers, they're higher owned, at least a majority of them are going to be higher owned than the batters, than the hitters, okay? This is good because it essentially allows you to stake a claim in your starting pitchers right away. You don't have to overthink them. For instance, if you are stacking a team and you have a low owned stack of a specific team for batters, you want to go and you want to grab that ownership. If you're playing a decent in terms of how big the contest is, you want to grab ownership for those last few spots. So if you're grabbing a lower ownership stack, you want to go and grab some higher ownership pitchers. So Ben Lively, Ricardo, Pinto are going to be the highest owned guys on the slate. So if you're grabbing a low owned stack, let's say we go back to the stacking tool here and we are grabbing, let's just hypothetically say a stack of LG, we want to come back with some high owned pitchers, okay? Vice versa, if you're grabbing a high owned stack of, let's say, Dew, you want to maybe take some GPP stabs here at maybe Aaron Brooks or Young Ha Lee, okay? That's just how it works. Yep, Dave, that's what I'm here for. I'm going over the stacking for KBO, okay? So I will be doing a tutorial video at some point today over KBO and how to stack, okay? Because that's what we're going to be doing going forward for MLB. MLB is easily my most profitable sport. It is the easiest in terms of lineup construction if you know what you're doing. There's a lot of people in baseball who just simply do not stack, and I don't understand why. They are wasting money. They are donating to Draftkings. All right. So, do you guys get from a strategy standpoint how to attack stacks? It's going to be a 5, and then it's going to be either a 2-1 or a 5-1-1, depending on what kind of ownership you're looking at. For a pitching perspective, or from a pitching perspective, you generally want to follow the public because that generally carries the highest ownership, okay? In cash, these ownerships are going to look a lot more inflated. Ben Lively is going to be closer to 70 to 80%. Ricardo Pinto is going to be closer to 50%. Eric Jokic, I think it's how you pronounce it. It's going to be closer to 40%, okay? But for GPPs, you're going to try to grab as much ownership as you can possible, okay? All right. So now let's talk about which teams we're going to stack, okay? As you guys know with the advanced leverage tool, what I talked about last time for, I think specifically CSGO and League of Legends, and I redeveloped this for KBO, is this is based on the amount of runs that a team is projected to get, taking into account ownership, and then saying whether that is an inflation in ownership or they're flying under the radar. So let's take this a step further, okay? You guys will notice that if we scroll down to somebody like Dew, okay, they are going to have a % higher than everybody else because their ownership is inflated, which means everybody's going to flock to the team that has the highest over-under, and our job is to see whether it's worth it or not to take these guys. If these runs were closer to 8, 9, and these ownerships were still the same, then this wouldn't be as inflated. But if you compare this easily to a team right below them who has barely any inflation, the leverage is there. So for instance, let's just hypothetically say we start LG over Do for a stack, and they outperform Do tremendously. We're sitting in a very good spot because if you compare this to the ownerships here on the screen for LG, they're virtually non-existent. And what that means is that nobody's going to have ownership of these guys. So if you start LG over Do and LG outperforms Do, you're going to shoot to the top of all your GPPs. You're going to probably take down the GPP. That's just how it works. Okay? So my job is to tell you guys which ownerships are inflated, which ownerships are great leverage stacks, and I did that on Patreon if you guys want to go give that a look. But if you are specifically MMEing, you are simply not you're not playing the inflated stacks. You're not playing the guys that are inflated like Do. You're not playing the guys that are inflated like KT. It looks like KT is second highest over under on the entire slate, 5.46. You're probably going to fade these guys as a stack. Okay, at least from a strategy standpoint, that would make sense in GPPs. If you did that, if you faded the top rated stack last night, then you probably made a lot of money. I saw a couple of tornadoes at the top of these contests. So if you have been following this strategy, and for Daily Grind Fantasy, I know it's more advanced, you guys are taking down some GPPs, okay? I don't have to put that on my sheet for you guys to fade it or play it, okay? You guys should know this from the stacking leverage tool, and this tool is amazing. It tells you where the inflation is, and again, you should be able to pivot off of your stacks. You should be able to make hard stances on your stacks based on this tool. You don't need any other tool. You don't need projections. You do not need anybody's advice to tell you who to play if you're just looking at this tool, okay? Because this is going to tell you where you should stake your claim, not only in MMEs, but also single entry GPPs and cash lineups. All right. What's up, Adam? What's going on, man? Starting lineups are not out yet, okay? I don't believe so. Now, the good thing about KBO, and I was scared that they weren't going to do this, is that on Draftkings, all you need to do before slate locks, about 15 minutes before, is check your lineup or lineups. Make sure that your players have a little green check mark next to them. I haven't entered a single contest, so I haven't checked to see if any of these guys are actually confirmed. Let me go ahead and do that now. All right, we already have a slate for tomorrow, so that's good. I'll be covering KBO for tomorrow, if you guys were wondering. I will be covering all KBO slates. All right, so we got a confirmed lineup here. Looks like from Do. Do has confirmed lineup, so that's great. Let me go ahead and refresh my page. But from a strategy standpoint, do you guys understand KBO? Again, very similar to League of Legends, where you're stacking a 4. You come back with another team in League of Legends. You don't necessarily have to do that in KBO unless it's a huge contest, okay? I generally do stack 2 specific teams if you're talking about a huge contest and GPPs, because that's the only way to differentiate yourself in KBO. You generally want to stack the 2 highest, the best 2 teams on the slate as far as runs, and hopefully you get lucky. So that's the strategy. So it looks like they're confirmed Do is in Draftkings, but not on Fantasy Cruncher here, okay? So I will be going over the starting lineups here on stream so that you guys are not lost, okay? It also takes a second. There's a little bit of lag. There's about 5 to 10 minutes lag when they actually do confirm the lineups, and then they're actually confirmed in Draftkings. What's the last column that has no title? Good question. Did I leave an existing title or a column here? I believe that is just the percentage difference between the teams as far as inflation. Don't worry about it. The only thing that you're going to be looking at here is the overrating. The overrating is the most important column. And again, if you aren't a Patreon member, this is all gibberish to you. You want to make sure you are grabbing this tool and looking at this every single slate if you're a Patreon member. If you are not, I highly recommend getting on Patreon, not only for the support, but again, I have the edge with every single slate. We'll also be doing this for Call of Duty. We'll be doing this for League of Legends, for CSGO. And again, we're still not even talking about Call of Duty. Call of Duty is where it's at, guys. We have been killing it. At the very first slate, Well, first couple slates, we killed it for Call of Duty. Cannot wait to do that. That's going to be on Friday. Cannot wait to break that down. All right, so lineups are out for Do LG. I'll also tell you guys where we're getting that. Do you always target the highest percentage owned KBO players on cheat sheets? For cash, yes. For GPPs, no. Those are probably going to be hard fades for me. All right, so let's go ahead and look. If you guys haven't followed KBO DFS or my KBO on Twitter, you need to do so right now. That is the leading source for our confirmed lineups, okay? That is probably the most reliable one. I just found them on Twitter, and it has gone viral in a matter of days. So I know that Awesemo follows them. I know that a couple other big dogs follow them. So make sure that we are following them. It is DFS. It's at DFS KBO. Pretty straightforward. And then there's the other source here, which is at my KBO. Okay, so it's the at symbol my KBO. So Do has their official rosters out. Again, I will be confirming them. Do not ask me to say their names. I'm not going to embarrass myself on stream. And quite frankly, I don't know how to say them. Okay, so get over it. We have 2 confirmed lineups here. I will go ahead and put them on the screen. This is for Do. Let's go ahead and pull them up on the screen now. The order 1 all the way through 9. Gonna start here at the top. Let me go ahead and pull up my cheat sheet to make sure that's updated. And I did have some differentiating opinions here on my cheat sheet, so I will go ahead and update that immediately. All right. So it's actually kind of funny because after copying and pasting over those players, it actually is even more inflated for Do. So that's interesting. So why don't the starting pitcher from your 5-man stack? Yeah, first of all, I got this question many times, and I get it for you guys who haven't played MLB or KBO. You asked, do you play the starting pitcher in your 5-man stack? The answer to that is no, you do not, because pitching and hitting are not correlated whatsoever, okay? If a pitcher has a great game, it has no correlation to the hitters having a great game, okay? That those hitters could go out and stink, or they could go out and do very well, okay? So your 5-man stack is not going to include the pitcher. It's going to be strictly batters, okay? And you want to try to grab players that are closely that are close in the batting order, so that starts a relay. Relay is when one player gets a hit, the next player gets a hit, next player gets a home run. You guys get it. One player gets a steal, the other player hits him in. All those points are correlated. You don't want to go out and grab a 1, 4, 7, 5. Okay, you don't want to grab players that aren't going to make sense. I'm not saying go 1 through 5 in the starting lineup and play them, because that's probably going to be the more chalky stack. Maybe 1, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, something like that. But again, you want to look at a couple stats. The two most important statistics to look at in all of baseball are going to be the weighted on base average, which means the percentage chance that you're going to actually get on a base, and then the ISO. The ISO is how far you're going to hit the ball. So if we look here, for instance, in JO, we'll call him that, has a pretty good hitting power here with an ISO of 0.205. I don't know the exact calculation that goes into ISO, not off the top of my head, but generally the higher the ISO, the further this guy hits the ball. He has a 0.7 or 378 weighted on base average with a 0.205 ISO. This is something you're going to want to target from this team. He's starting the batting order. He plays first base. JO. Okay. He also carries one of the highest ownerships on the team, so that makes sense. But he might be a good pivot off of somebody like the next guy who doesn't have as high as an ISO and a lower weighted on base average, but carries a higher ownership. All right. A lot not lit. Yep, always get your cleanup hitter, which is in the 4 spot. That's another good comment, because generally the 4 guy, let's say the top guys in the batting order, the top 3, all get on base. You generally want a guy that's going to clean them up. That's why he is the cleanup hitter, okay? Who's going to hit all those guys in. So let's go over to the next lineup here. We have another confirmed lineup from KIW. I'll go ahead and pull that up on the screen. Let's go ahead and download it so I can get it into my spreadsheet so that everybody's updated on Patreon. I'm doing a lot more minutes on the stream than I thought I would be, but it's all good. This is the starting lineup for KIW. Now, I'm not seeing too many questions, so I hope that this is straightforward for you guys. Hopefully it's not confusing. I try to make it simple. It's a very simple sport. You guys have been playing League of Legends, so again, you should be able to go right into this as far as stacking. Stacking is not difficult in KBO. All right, and then we have another confirmed lineup here for LG. And again, all of these lineups will confirm on Draftkings, so do not freak out. If they don't have a green check next to their name, do not freak out. All right. Yeah, it will get updated. I promise. All these guys will get updated. And also, guys, I forgot to mention this. There's no weather concerns for today's slate, which is a huge sigh of relief for me, which means I don't have to do any extra work, because rain delays definitely do screw up everything. I got the question yesterday, do rain delays actually negate points? The answer is yes. If your players do get rained out, they get no points, which stinks. That's the only thing that stinks about baseball, is you have to pay attention to the weather. Whereas in the NBA, you don't have to, right? I posted the starting lineups in the Patreon Discord. Thank you so much, Snow. Are all the lineups actually out? Because I'm not going back to my phone and Fantasy Cruncher. But if they are out, awesome. That's awesome to hear. Or that's awesome to hear, Albert. The spreadsheet again. Let me go over this one last time, and then I'm going to go ahead and get off stream because I have to actually scramble and do my own lineups. I haven't done a single one yet. Okay, and I have 30 minutes to lock. So let's look at this one more time. I'll be updating this. I'm going to be uploading this to Patreon. You guys want to look at the overrating. The overrating, the purple column, is the most important thing. The closer to 0, the better the stack. Okay? The further away from 0, the worse the stack, the more inflation there is. Okay? So if we look at, for instance, Dew earlier, they were the highest on the slate. They are anywhere between 1 to 3% inflated ownership. I'm probably going to end up fading them, at least for a stack, okay? Because you have to take hard stances in GPPs, and that's the way to do it. Again, purple column is the most important thing. I'm going to go ahead and get off, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully we are all on the same page. Again, you don't have to go with my recommended stacks on Patreon, but from a strategy standpoint, please look at the overrating and make your claim, whether you're playing cash, single entry GPP, or multi-entry GPP. This is MME heaven for a lot of us who do play it. I see a lot of tornadoes at the top. Last contest I did, and I didn't even have to tell you guys where the top stacks were, okay? So let's go ahead, guys. I'm going to be putting out a lot of more content, at least on YouTube, and just going forward. Look out for that Call of Duty video. I'll make that public. Also, look out for some KBO tutorials. I'll be doing that as well. Hopefully, you guys all have a great night. What's your favorite stack for GPP with 594 people? So, no, I'm going to get right into that. I'm going to be posting that. I'm going to be changing everything on Patreon. I'll let you guys know in the Discord. I'm going to be doing all that right now, okay? So that's what I'm going to be doing right when I get the stream. Hopefully you guys have a good night. I will talk to you in a couple hours. And also in Discord, I'll be updating you guys throughout the night. Have a great night, guys, and let's cash.
Never leave.